Hi, everybody. I thought I would make another video about English rhythm because it is so complicated and really is a key to clarity when we're speaking. My name is Andrea Lobb. I am the owner and founder of ClearSpeak, and I specialize in helping people who speak English as a second language to speak with clarity and confidence. But I also feel like a video like talking about rhythm can also help other speakers who maybe have difficulty speaking with impact and power and persuasion in their speaking. Let's break down rhythm a little bit. I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit shorter. My first one was really quite long, so I'll try to make these a little bit more digestible. When I'm talking about rhythm, I'm going to be talking about some basic elements that will help you, if you look at them separately, help you understand and start hearing English rhythm patterns, and then being able to practice and produce those English rhythm patterns maybe a little bit more easily. So if you look at the screen that I'm sharing here, I have outlined some of the things that I talk about when I discuss and teach rhythm specifically. The first one is really listening for and being able to produce stress over specific words within a speech that we're saying or a sentence that we're saying. So which word in the sentence are we stressing the most? That stress point is going to be heard with a rise in pitch or tone. Some people think of that as intonation. It's a little bit longer. It's a little bit louder. The word will be much more clear or pronounced more clearly. With rhythm, we also talk about word stress. Which syllable within a specific word is receiving that stress? And the stress will be the same. Higher pitch, longer, louder, more clear. Intonation, I like to talk about as being the general pattern of the voice across the sentence. Where is the voice going up? Where is the voice going down? We also talk about connection or flow or linking, how the words connect together, and then piggybacking onto that, so to speak, is pausing, or the way that we chunk information into little units or groups and where we pause. So all of those elements together create English rhythm. The little bar across the top of my screen right here is what I often refer to when I talk about pitch or tone. A stressed syllable or a stressed word in a sentence is going to get the highest tone. There are other words or syllables that get a secondary tone level where they get a little bit, but not as much as the key element. And then there are unstressed segments of words and sentences that might be at this lower bar. Being able to fluctuate between these tone levels is really helpful in clarifying your message in English. I actually thought it might be nice to start with just a basic introduction. I hear a lot of people really struggle just introducing themselves. And if you speak English as a second language in particular, what I notice happening is somebody will introduce themselves. The English listener will not be able to understand somebody's name, and then we'll feel bad about asking for clarification, and so we'll just avoid using that person's name. Then you end up with this weird dynamic where you've introduced yourself, the person didn't understand, didn't tell you they didn't understand, won't ask for clarification, and then they won't address you, and I feel like that really creates a barrier to connection for people. Social connection, professional connection, whatever it is. So I mean, I use these techniques when I introduce myself as well. So this is not just for second language learners or users. This is really for everybody. What I want you to pay attention to is what I do with my voice just on the word hi, and then how I really make sure my first name and last name are very distinctive from each other, and that I have a tone rise on my second part of my name. The tone will be lower for my first name and higher for my last name. Here it goes. Hi, my name is Andrea Lobb. I felt like that was a little weird. I'm going to do it again. Hi, my name is Andrea Lobb. So you can even hear on hi, I have this peak of tone and then a drop in tone. My name is Andrea. Lob. A little pause between my first name and my last name. So somebody who's unfamiliar with my name will clearly hear a first name, a last name, and they know which one is which. If you have a name that's unfamiliar to, American listeners, it's super important to make your first name very distinctive from your last name. Otherwise, we're not sure where one name ends and the other name begins, and we don't know what to call you. So just make sure that those are very distinctive with a good pause in between. Tone rise on your last name will help indicate that's my last name. Then when I'm introducing what I do, again, I'm more precise. I don't link the words together as much because people are often unfamiliar with my profession. So I say, I'm a speech language pathologist. Again, a little bit of a tone rise on the last part of my profession. If you have multiple words in your profession, you want that tone rise on the last one. Fine to have that be kind of condensed together because it's just grammatical stuff. People don't, it's not like carrying the information, the key information. I'm a speech language pathologist. I'm an electrical engineer. I'm an IT professional. I'm a professor at the University of Utah, for example. I'm in Utah. I'm a cardiologist at the university hospital. I don't know, whatever. Now, when you're asking somebody what their name is, listen to the tone difference or the stress difference. Which word is getting the most attention if I'm the first person to speak? What's your name? What's your name? I'm stressing what's to highlight a question, and I'm stressing name. Your gets a dip. What's your name? Oh, my name is Andrea Lob. Now, if I'm the second person to ask this question, it does get stressed very differently. So listen to that difference. What's your name? What's your name? Now I'm stressing your because it's new information. It's a change in request of information. So in this conversation back and forth, now I'm stressing your to throw the question back to the other person. And so that's the appropriate way to stress the same question dependent on being the first person to ask or the second person to ask. Okay, I thought it might be helpful to go over just some common phrases and expressions. On my other video, I did a really long speech or more complicated speech, and I feel like this video probably would have been better to be first because these are just common things that we say all the time. I love these common phrases because it really gives us a window to talk about what happens in unstressed syllables and words. In unstressed syllables and words in English, we tend to reduce the pronunciation and often shift these words, often the vowels, into these other weird things that we say. So have to often becomes have to. Have to. I'm really changing the pronunciation of everything about that. Want to becomes wanna. T is totally gone. Going to often becomes gonna. And oftentimes these grammatical words of her, him, here will drop the H, im, ear, which sounds super strange when you isolate it, but within a sentence makes much more sense, or you'll hear people do this all the time. These reductions, again, are very common, especially in our social communication. I may not do these as much in my professional communication. So let's look at some examples. I'm going to look at the example here of I'm going to be late. I'm going to be late. Going and late are my key words. Those are going to receive some stress because they carry meaning. Now, go is this key stress syllable here. So that will get preserved, and late will get preserved. But what you will hear speakers do is not I'm going to be, where ing and to be are unstressed. I'm going to be late. You'll hear people say, I'm gonna be late. gonna be late. I'm gonna be late. I have to go. I want to do another one with have to. Well, the first sentence, I guess, is really good for have to, because what oftentimes will happen is if I'm going to say a concept like I have to run, which you can totally say I have to run, people will also change it totally to gotta. I gotta run. I gotta run. Run is the primary stressed word. It gets the most stress. Gotta gets a little bit. I gotta run. I gotta run. I have to go quickly. Let's look at let's look at this one. Come here. This is one where you'll hear that H get dropped. If I'm saying come here, if I want to preserve it and sound maybe a little more polished and professional, I'm going to leave it more preserved. Come here, come here. But typically what you will hear speakers say is come near, where H is gone and the M is really connected to this second part of the word. Come here, come here, come here, come here. I wanna show you something, right? I want to show you something. I want to show you, I wanna show you something. Really is gonna be pronounced, I wanna show you something. So that two is becoming an the U is often a y, really reduced, something. This is your stressed syllable, and then the voice drops at the end. I want to show you something. I want to show you something. I think show is the key stressed word here. Anyway, what I recommend doing for English rhythm is to be listening for, give yourself a task where you take a speech that you can replay over and over again, something kind of short maybe. It could even be part of an episode of a sitcom or anything really. And I want you to switch your mind from listening to meaning and trying to understand the words so much as listening for the stress patterns. What words stand out? What syllables stand out? What are they doing with their intonation? Are they saying come over with that intonation right on the end, or are they saying come over with the voice dropping at the end? Potentially how the words are connecting or flowing together. And where is that speaker pausing? And what effect does that have? Just keying in to listen. And then you can take a segment and pause it and repeat and try to get that same pattern. Recording yourself speaking and going back and listening and assessing. How well did you match? That model is very helpful. I highly recommend doing that. Anyway, I really hope you found that helpful. I would really appreciate any feedback. If you have other topics you want to hear talked about or explained, more examples like this, or anything like that, I would really love the feedback. Please put a comment and let me know how else I can be helpful or other examples I can give. Oftentimes people have difficulty with specific vocabulary within their professions, and I would love to go over some of those as well. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks, guys. Bye.